Hey folks, Curt Miller here with East Mountain Cowboy Church in Edgewood, New Mexico. Got a question for you. Have you ever gone deep on the tough subjects in life, especially for the Christian? We're starting a new series this week called Going Deep. We're going deep because we're going to talk about 5 things that shape our culture, shape people's lives, cause people to live in a tremendous amount of guilt and fear. And I believe the church has done a poor job when it comes to addressing these issues. So if you want to go deep with us, start this Sunday. Here what we're going to do. What's the Bible say about alcohol? What's the Christian's response to abortion? What's the Christian's response to homosexuality? What's the Christian's response when it comes to politics and mental health? You see, folks, here's the truth. There are things that the Bible definitely talks about when it comes to all 5 of those issues. For politics, for instance, do you vote on a person's character? Do you vote on a person's policies? Do you vote political lines, or do you vote what the Bible has to say? When it comes to mental health, do you know that 60 million Americans, 1 in 5 this year, will deal with mental health? Not depression. I'm talking mental health. There's a clinical depression, there is a light depression, and then there's clinical mental health issues. What's the church doing about it? Did Jesus talk about mental health? Did he deal with it? Sure he did. We're going to deal with it. What's the Bible say about homosexuality? Well, we know what the Bible teaches about homosexuality. When it talks about it's not allowed, but what's our response to it, and how do we deal with it through grace and forgiveness? How do we understand them so that we might have an opportunity to reach them and help them understanding God's love? Now, if you're listening to this and you live in that lifestyle, you might think, well, this guy's full of it, but we're going to deal with it, but it's not going to be judgmental. We're going to deal with abortion, and we're not going to do it in a judgmental way. Do you know that more churches have done more damage to women that have gone through an abortion than they have helped? And we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about what the Christian response is. And then here's the kicker, and I know this is going to get me in a lot of trouble, but I love trouble. Do you know that there are over 240 verses in the Bible that talk about wine and alcohol? And you know that 140 of them deal with alcohol in a positive way, that 60 plus deal with it in a negative, or 40 deal with it in a negative way, and 62 deal with it in a general way that dealt with false accusations. And so we're going to do a study on what does the Bible talk about wine? What's it talk about? Is it a sin? Is it not a sin? When is it a sin? And we're going to deal with it from a biblical standpoint. Now I'm going to say this. A can of beer has caused more damage in the life of a church than just about anything I can think of. People have been judgmental and they have been critical. Am I endorsing drinking? Well, I'm endorsing what the Bible says. There's not a verse in the Bible that says don't drink unless it dealt with the Nazarites. And you may say, well, who the heck was the Nazarites? Well, Jesus was a Nazarite. He didn't take the vow. John the Baptist was a Nazarite. He took the vow. We're going to get into what John the Baptist was accused of being, because he didn't drink. He was accused of being a person of a demon spirit. But then Jesus came, it says, and Jesus himself said, they accused John the Baptist of being somebody with a demonic spirit because he didn't drink and eat the bread, because the bread was leavened, and because he didn't drink wine because it was fermented. But then Jesus said, they accused me of being a drunkard because I came eating and drinking. It was a reference to what John did and what Jesus did. It talks about celebrating the good wine, and we're going to talk about that as well. So we're going to step out. I'll probably get in trouble for stepping out and dealing with it. It's not an endorsement for me to drink. It's not an endorsement for anybody to drink. But there's nothing in the Bible says not to drink. But it's funny how everybody takes the passages when it talks about drunkenness. Now that's when drinking gets to be a problem according to the Bible. So if you want to go deep, check us out on Sunday mornings for the next 5 weeks, maybe 6, 7 weeks. It will depend on how far we go based on the questions we get. And it may be shorter because somebody may decide they want to take me out. Hey, Jesus loves you. I love you. He's always got your back. Come see us sometime. Pass the word. Vaya con Dios.